All right, so we are about to watch Turdz vs. Piggyman. This is, I believe, the fifth game they're playing for the Battle of the Decks finals. Let me actually go make sure. I always make the best produced videos. Yeah, this is their fifth game. They've played four really good games, I think. I think this is a really nice matchup. The first game had an interesting formation where the first four moves were 9, 2, 8, 3, which is a pretty rare setup after four moves. And their fourth game went 1, 6, 4, so very similar start, just rotated. And Turdz found a very, very difficult to find tie in 5 there. Really impressed. I think overall, Piggy's been the one pushing a little more. But Piggy also has had 3 first turns, and Piggy is quite possibly the best first turn player on the site. So I think Turdz has defended remarkably well. They've both played well. The rule set is level 7 and 8. Same plus wall combo. Must use 3 cards from the lower level. And it is a battle of the deck. So one of them is playing Suikoden 5. I think that's Piggy. Piggy likes Suikoden 5. And Turdz is playing Dragon Quest. This also leads to some interesting matchups of the cards. If we go to view cards and look at level 7 and 8, or actually Dex is probably the way to go. Let's go back. Dex. And if I pop open Suikoden 5 and Dragon Quest, Turdz was mentioning that he didn't really have an answer to 1987. And you can imagine pretty easily in a Battle of the Decks format, there can be 9s, or whatever the highest number available is, that's just really hard for you to set up against. So if we look here, he said there was one card. Yeah, 6817 was the only card, and not really a desirable one to use, not a card that feels very powerful. So difficult to set up to handle that card, and that's going to be a difficulty in sets like this. How can you find advantages when there's a card in the opponent's hand that is really difficult for you to face? And we're off. Piggyman has another first turn. This is his 4th. This is not to say Piggyman is like super reliant on first turn. He's a very good second turn player, but I think he is a spectacular first turn player. And Turdz mentions he thinks that Piggyman keeps changing his hands, but that is a card that stays in. That's clearly a card that is playing well. And, you know, if you find in a format where the opponent has limited access to cards, that none of their cards handle a threat, then trying out different cards while keeping that threat can be a really good way to apply pressure. So, what do we got here? Just looking quickly at hand directionality, Turdz has a 9 up, and Piggy smooths. So I'm sort of looking at Turdz' hand first to see the directionality. A 9 up, 8s to the right and left and down. So you can see that Piggy's 8-8 corner potentially has really nice play, right? There is nothing here that can take it immediately. I have noticed in watching some of the previous games that Turdz often went for distant moves rather than setups. So in one of the games, I think the first one, Piggyman started with this 7-8-2-7 in 9. And I expected Turdz to play 4-8-8-3 and 5, because 8-7-4-3 would then have both 6 and 8. And he picked up 4-8-8-3, and I was like, aha, it's happening. And then he went in 2, which I think was also a very playable move, but a little less kind of thematic to me. So here we have an 8-8 corner that there is no immediate play against. Is there a setup? And it seems like 8-7-4-3 and 5 sets up 7-4-8-7 to have 6 and 4-8-8-3 to have 8. So that's one setup. We'll also notice 6-8-1-7 has made it into Turdz' hand. He has decided he does need a card that can fight against 1987's 9. The 9 is just too difficult to not be able to touch all game. So 8-2-7-8, there is a big setup against. Is that bad for Piggy? Well, 1987 would have the same in 6, and would also have a capture in 8. So it seems to me like it's fine to allow. maybe not optimal, but like I also wouldn't be that frightened of it. I would look for better, but with the understanding that if I have to settle for that, that's okay. Um, there's not much to punish sevens, right? And there's a bunch of numbers here. I'm not seeing many numbers that line up to punish each other well, right? Usually there's some weird synergies where, like, 1987 picks off threes facing up, but there aren't threes, there are fours. And I'm not seeing many kind of secondary synergies here that could be exploited. Because often, if a card has a strong number one way, like a 9 one way, if you have play against its other side, you can play up top, and the 9 has trouble playing against you. But I'm not seeing any punishes like that. So, alright, go 7827 in 7. And Turdz says that's the starter he was thinking of for Piggy as well. Which makes sense. Turdz has no move in 8, and it is hard to set up for 8. There are setups in 5, but maybe not that powerful. I tend to think something like if you went, say, 4, 8, 8, 3, and 5, I think this sets up 7, 4, 8, 7, but is probably bad. Because what probably happens there is Piggy goes 4, and you then kind of have to play 7, 4, 8, 7, and 8. Maybe you don't. Maybe you can play 1. But let's pretend you have to play 8. And you've used your best card for 1. So we'll say you have to play 8 there. 7, 4, 8, 7. You grab the corner card, but then Piggy can play something like 8, 2, 7, 8 in 9, and grab the card in 8. And 9 is probably just safe there. It is safe there. So I think it's hard to set up in 5 unless the captures you set up have high outfacing, because it is so easy for the opponent to force the action in a way that's tough for you. And this is often why I consider moves in 5 somewhat risky. And if you have one card that double sets up and it doesn't use the kind of power you'll need for later, that can be useful even with low outfacing. But I think it's something to be careful about, and that's to say, I don't think a move like 4, 8, 8, 3, and 5 is any good here. I think that would be a poor move. 4, 8, 8, 3, and 5, I meant, setting up 8. There are other ways to set up 8, though. You could go 9. 7, 4, 8, 7, and 9 does that, but leaves Turdz very weak going down, and the game will be down facing. So I think that would also be a pretty bad move. A move that makes more sense to me is 8, 7, 4, 3, and 9, just because it sets up the same, but also we have no recapture. So I think that is very difficult to play as well. So 9 looks unappealing to me, and 5 looks unappealing to me. That makes this a tough position. What about... Can we get away with 4, 8, 8, 3, and 4? Can you just capture? If Pigs recaptures with 6, 4, 6, 8, he has no threat in 5. And maybe we could follow up in 1 with, say, 6, 8, 1, 7, and we'd have built this wall of 8s going out. The other standard response for Piggy to a move in 4, like 4, 8, 8, 3, is to go in 1 himself. But we do have, as Turdz, we have 1, 9, 8, 7 covered there, and against 5, 7, 6, 6, we have a way to capture that if we want in 2, but we could also just go in 8. Now, we don't have great setups in 8, so we'd probably have to go in 2 there. Probably have to play 9, 3, 4, 8, and 2, which doesn't set us up for 5s. That doesn't look amazing. This is a tough spot. Looking at Piggy's hand, I might think about going 2 as Turdz to make it an up-down game, but looking at Turdz' hand, I don't want an up-down game. Difficult starter to meet, I think. It's difficult, because Turdz just hand isn't that great going down. 4-8-8-3 and 4 is probably the move I'm coming to. But I think after 5-7-6-6 and 1, it's not an easy position. And I really like finding early moves that sort of clarify so my later moves aren't as hard to find. And looks uncomfortable. But I think that's what I'd do based on what I've looked at. Turdz likes adjacent corners. So I would not be surprised to see him go in like 1. Though I don't see what card would go there. Maybe the 8-8 corner, actually. Turdz is saying very good starter. Yeah. Pigs remains just quite possibly the best starter around. I was trying to make some starting stats with my my program, and I'm not sure it was very well done, but it did come out with Piggyman plays the best starters on the site, and I think this might just be right. I think Piggyman is really high pressure. So my idea here for Pigs was just block 6. Now, there may not be a card to do so, right? Because 8-2-7-8 is the card when Turdz is forced to go. No, but he can take back with anything. If Turdz has to use 7-4-8-7, if Turdz goes 7-4-8-7 and 8, he has no down power at all. And Pigs could take back with 5-7-6-6 or something. So actually, 8-2-7-8 in 4 looks very painful to me, right? If you go in 8, Pigs goes in 9, and Pigs has 3 cards safe to your 1. If you go in 1, you didn't even take it, and Pigs goes in 8, and Pigs has 3 cards safe to your potentially 1. Turdz thinking should have spent a bit longer looking at 3. I didn't really get to 3 either. I understand his desire to create a threat in 8. But I think the threat... I think if Piggy leaves it open, right? I think if Piggy plays somewhere like 3, Turdz has time to consolidate. But the threat in 8 matters more the longer the game is, because combos are more powerful the longer they sit in general. And so if Pigs... Turdz has mentioned 5-7-6-6 and 3. That looks very logical. But I think that's the wrong approach. I think Piggy can cash in by going in 4. Now 5-7-6-6 and 3 might be really good too. It does look quite powerful, I will admit. But I think after something like 5-7-6-6 and 3, Turdz could play, say, 7-4-8-7 and 4. And Pigs has trouble touching that. The only way to capture 1-9-8-7 is covered by 6-8-1-7, which is actually a really good sweeper on that top row with exactly those cards left. It just controls Pig's hand completely. So Pigs could go 6, but probably goes 8 there. And if Pigs takes the same in 8, then you have a 9-3-4-8 and 9, captures 8-2-7-8, and is safe. That looks really good for Turdz. So even though 5-7-6-6 is like huge combo potential everywhere, 6-4-6-8 has both sides, I think it doesn't do that much. Yeah, I think this is a mistake. That's my guess. I think it is a very logical, normal move, and I think it gives Turdz some options. Maybe the plan is if Turdz goes 4, Piggy can go 6, but I think that's difficult as well, because then suddenly your 6-4-6-8 is not nearly as well set up. Maybe it's enough? Maybe. So if Turdz goes 4, Turdz leads 6-4. Pigs goes 6, let's say with... I'm not sure it matters. Let's say with 8-2-7-8. That'll make it 5-5. Turdz plays 9-3-4-8 in 9. Grab 6. Pigs can grab a card with either of his remaining cards in 8, but can't take both. So that's going to make it 5-5 again. And then if Pigs has 1987 left... Oh, I thought Turdz could go 6-8-1-7 and 1 at the end. Can't 1987 pluses that. But can go 8-7-4-3 and 1 at the end. And that will tie against 1987. And if Pigs has 6-4-6-8 or 8-2-7-8 left at the end, Turdz can block 2 with 6-8-1-7. So I think 4 is... Turdz says, in fact, I like how I look in 4. Yeah, I think 4 is the right option. And the reason I'm drawn to 4 is it's the only thing that captures a corner, isn't susceptible to combos, and is high out facing. And by capturing a corner, it means we don't need to then combo later in 8, because we've already flipped it, so it's okay that 7-4-8-7's out of our hand. By being strong itself, it means Piggy doesn't have easy moves locking in safety. And I think I said another principle. Oh, it's not vulnerable to 5, so you're not running into huge combo issues. So I think 7-4-8-7 and 4 should hold for Turdz. Now, I did think Pigs should have gone in 4 instead of 3. That doesn't mean there was no save there. I think it's not that like one's winning and one isn't. I suspect both are ties. But I want the move that makes their obvious replies not work. And I think a lot of... I don't really actually think that's so much how Pigs plays, and I think he plays so fantastically well, and his first moves are so good that maybe we should ignore me. But I think there's a feature of, if I go in 3, where's their obvious move? And we could see, I jump to 4 is my immediate idea. Turdz jumped to 4 as well, right? And if both of us are jumping to 4, it's likely to be the kind of standard move in the position. And if it works, that means the move in 3 is not a great winning try. While against a move in 4, I think the obvious moves are in 1 and 8, and those did not look like they were working. They may have worked with some calculation, but at least it seemed unlikely. While here, 4 might be playable and good without doing a ton of calculation. So I do think this was the weaker move, but obviously it makes a ton of sense. 6-4-6-8 is such a powerhouse. But I don't know that comboing back one's own cards is what's critical here. So I think Turdz will survive, despite Piggy's very strong starter, and that Turdz didn't find a reply he was very happy with. Again, I do think Piggy is the best first turn player on the site. Alright, Turdz picks up a wholly different card. What card was that? 8-7-4-3. So he's probably playing in 4 without the combo. That probably works too. I mean, without the capture. Keep 7-4-8-7 in the hand, which in most lines is better. Though we did point out that one critical point, that 8-7-4-3 is the only card in the hand that can go in 1 and not be flipped by 1987 and 2. So this looks like a pretty useless card, but we did come up with one spot where it was quite meaningful. This also surrenders safety in 8, right? In the other line, because we flipped 7, there was some obligation on Pig's part to recapture or to leave 8 open. Now Pigs could go 1987 and 8. And while that gives away Pigs' best sweeper on the top row, you know, Turdz then has an easy move to make in 2 at some point. No, I think Turdz should tie there. 1987 and 8. Turdz plays in 2. Flips 3. Pigs can't flip anything in 1. And Turdz loses something in the squares 6 and 9, but only 1 card. And can keep that loss to 1 card. Got to make sure he doesn't walk into a dumb combo. 9, 3, 4, 8, and 6 is comboed by 8, 2, 7, 8. But I think 1, 9, 8, 7, and 8 is a tie here. And one nice feature about Turdz' move compared to mine is his card's actually safe. It's not just we can combo back if it's taken. It's actually safe. And because Pig has last turn, that's why in some variations on my move we had to block 1 at the end. Here we don't really have to block 1 at the end. Note, however, if Pigs holds on to 1, 9, 8, 7, Turdz can never play in 2 and capture 3 because he'll be comboed. Which means Turdz is going to lose a card on the top row if Pigs goes in 6. I think Pigs should go in 6 then. Because that means if Pigs can run even on the bottom row, Pigs will win. But can he? Probably not. Because either 8, 2, 7, 8 or 6, 4, 6, 8, and 6 probably just get taken from 9. So there might be another way to leave 1 and 2 open such that 1, 9, 8, 7 is going to put up a plus. Maybe Pigs could go in 9. Turdz presumably goes 8, Pigs goes 6, and you have the 2 squares left open. But I don't really think that works, because if 8, 2, 7, 8, and 9... I'm not sure what happens there. No, I don't think it works. Alright, so 1, 9, 8, 7, and 8 does happen. Pigs take safety. This is a good, secure path to at least a tie. But I think being so dead on the top means 6, 8, 1, 7, and 2 is a easy tie. In fact, after 6, 1, 8, 7, and 2, Pigs has to be kind of careful. He has to keep 6, 4, 6, 8. So it's not that far from being winning, but I don't think it can be winning. Yeah, I don't think it can be winning. Because there's no double capture in 2 for Turdz. If there was a double capture in 2 for Turdz, I could start... no, even then. Yeah, I think we're just headed towards a tie. So I want to again say, so far, the first 4 games they played, I ran through the machine. It had no complaints about any moves made. This has been a very well played matchup. And while I would have gone a different route at points this game, that doesn't mean my route is any better. I'd like to think it was a little higher pressure, but I don't really know. May as well check this one while we're here. Because I think it's not good if I have the solver open while thinking, because then I just say what it says instead of like actually using my brain or talking to positions. This is a really common problem in chess commentary of when they have Stockfish, which is the generically used computer program. When they have Stockfish on, they just kind of tell you the Stockfish lines because the Stockfish lines are just correct. And you lose a lot of the insight and the ability to, hearing people think through positions in useful ways for applying it your own play often goes out the window. And so I think you really don't want that. But towards the end of a game, it can be very useful to get the actual evaluation. Very interesting. So my move on move 3, I wanted to block 4 with 8, 2, 7, 8. And against that, there are 2 ties. Pigs played in 3, against which there are also 2 ties. And I don't think either were the one I said, so credit to Turdz, we'll get back to that. But there was a win after the move in 5, and I did not consider it at all. 8, 2, 7, 8, and 9. If you can hold that first position. So there's card in 7, Turdz plays in 5. Pig's winning move is 8, 2, 7, 8, and 9. Huh. Okay. It does create some synergies. Turdz has no capture in 6. Turdz has no capture in 8 there. That's just safe to Turdz' hand. I did not realize that at all. I had thought of... that's interesting. Because I had thought of 8, 2, 7, 8, and 8 as a starter, but I had not considered that that meant it could be so useful shortly after. Oh, that's very interesting. Did not see that at all. Just so you can quickly see the position I mean, let's pop over to that one. And so in this position, the winning move was here. Very interesting. All right, let's get you back to the game. In the game, this was played, and my move 7, 4, 7, 8, in fact, was a blunder, losing to 6, 4, 6, 8 here, where I thought I had this, but of course I do not. So this was just very bad miscalculation on my part. On the other hand, Turdz' move also doesn't work due to 8, 2, 7, 8 here, when I assumed this was fine, but 1, 9, 8, 7 is the killer sweeper up top. Yeah, risky to use 8, 7, 4, 3. So what were the ties here? The other move Turdz was thinking, and there is one other tie here, and it is also in 2. So this was a much better move than I thought. But it makes sense to block 2, because in every line after 4, we saw 1, 9, 8, 7 was so good in the top 2 squares. Alright, you didn't see what I just looked at, but let's bring that up for a moment. So the key ties here were here or here. And as we've seen, any move here, this is going to dominate so much up here. So I thought 4 was the obvious square, and that's why, and because I thought it worked, I thought 3 was a weaker move. But 4 doesn't work, which makes this really good, because my idea here loses to this. And I thought this worked, but that's because I had been assuming they would recapture this way. And then Turdz' idea of here loses to the other one when keeping 6, 4, 6, 8 sweeps those 8s really nicely. And this is a win because 1, 9, 8, 7 again crushes that top row. It's very interesting. Let's get you back to the game. This is the first anything that you could even argue was a real mistake in the match. And was this. But it means I really underestimated the strength of Piggy's move in 3. I thought there was a pretty straightforward path for Turdz to a tie, and I was just completely wrong. And Turdz thinks this position was full of traps, thought we might end up here, but this was trickier than he expected. Yeah, curious finish. It feels like Pig should have something, right? Because that plus wall in 9. But if Pig's plus wall's in 9, Turdz plays 6, 8, 1, 7, and 2, and that's a tie. Can Pigs leave it open in some way that creates another threat elsewhere? Apparently not. Turdz is currently up 6, 4, so something like 6, 4, 6, 8, and 1. Turdz blocks 9. Pigs only has 1 capture in 2. So I didn't actually see the last few moves, but I'm going to take a wild guess that it went 8, 2, 7, 8, and 9. No, it couldn't have. It couldn't have. It must have gone 6, 4, 6, 8, and 2, 6, 8, 1, 7, and 1. That flips the card in 2, and then 8, 2, 7, 8 in 9, with 7, 4, 8, 7 remaining, 5, 5. And the reason the combo doesn't flip 2 is because Piggy, when he went in 2, flipped 3. And when Turdz comboed back, that didn't combo 3 back. So when Pig's plus walled a 9, it didn't flip extra cards. Okay, that does get us here. Cool. Very interesting game. Complex combo stuff. I really thought 4 looked secure. But it makes so much sense that that 1987 is just a killer up top. And if you block 2, it is a much worse sweeper in 1 and 4 than it is in 1 and 2. And I was thinking more about my own cards, but not how to neutralize theirs. Might be a hole in my game. Very interesting game. And there should be going again. Soon, at least. Maybe I should bring up one other thing, which was my idea of a different move in 4, which again was not right. Of something like here, the ties were going in 1. Specifically, something like this, tied. But that's so hard to find. Jesus. That doesn't look appealing at all. What was the other tie? One other tie. This was the other tie. This is hard to find, I think. I mean, it's one of the first squares you look at, but it's not safe. You know, it's just very ugly to play. Like, how do you just look and go like, ah, of course, blue ties easily here. What a comfortable position. But of course, I just play here, and I have a tie. Easy. But, wow, that's tough. And didn't see this possibility at all. Did I flip you over properly? No, I didn't. Sorry about that. Let's do that. My point is, my idea was to go here, and the AI goes, ah, I tie here, or I tie here. And both of these to me look like, but you go here and you have 3 safe cards and I have very little, or you can just take me. Do I really have compensation here? Probably do, because I have combos. But it looks so scary to go into. Alright, let's get back to the actual position. So I guess in conclusion, I think Piggy's move in 3 was very powerful. I think my move in 4 was very powerful. And that move in 9, neither of us found, but was the best of all. So interestingly, this rule set is the players each get to pick a level. So they're going to play one more game of level 7 and 8, and then if they tie, they will move to different level combinations. That game was tough. Very tricky game. But you can see how dangerous Piggy is on first turn. Just gives your hands real difficulties that are not just you don't have comfortable. It's not just you can't take it now. You don't have a comfortable way to take it now. But it's often you're not going to have a comfortable way to take it at all, kind of ever. All right, we're running again. Make sure everything's good in the recording. Looks good. All right, looks like Turdz has changed the hand slightly. Still, real down problem. Piggy with another first turn. God, I do not envy Turdz having to defend this. You're just... It is so unlikely to get a chance to be able to press for a win against Piggy if Piggy is first turn. Like, your winning chances are just so small, and you have to be so careful not to lose. And Turdz is a good second turn player. Turdz is probably one of the most balanced players first turn, second turn, because in open, first turns generally not near as big an advantage as closed, but like, you know, a decent advantage for first turn, similar to like white in chess or something like that. While in closed, it's more similar to like home court advantage in sports, but like a little bigger. But like against Piggy, it's really tough. Really tough. So again, Turdz has no immediate way to address the 8-8 corner. And doesn't have the same setups as last time, right? Last time against 8-2, 7-8, and 9, there was 8-7, 4-3, and 5. But Turdz has changed the hand. And now that creates no threat in 8. So is there a setup? Top card needs a 2 facing down. No. I'm looking at setups in 5. The second card needs a 5 facing down. That's not there. The third card needs a 7 facing down. That is there. Does 5, 8, 7, 4, and 5 set up? No, it doesn't set up 6. The fourth card needs a 5 facing down. That's not there. The fifth card needs a 6. A2, 7, 8, and 9 looks very dangerous here. I think Turdz made some slight augmentations to the hand to take out cards that weren't fitting great, and maybe to potentially set up a 6, 8, 1, 7, and 4 starter, where 5, 8, 7, 4 has the recaptures. Though probably not if Piggy's using the 6, 4, 6, 8. But yeah, this looks very hard to deal with. Again, gonna immediately be on the back foot. Yeah. Now, Piggy's hand is very side to side, which could be a reason to go in 2, something Turdz has done before in this match. 2 is a square that could work. There's no setup in 5. Could play maybe for an adjacent corner, but when you have captures neither way, it's really hard to have a good L on their starter because, if you play in 7 and Pigs blocks 8, maybe he doesn't have a good block. Maybe you have moves in 5 there because 7, 4, 8, 7 can take anything Piggy does. But this looks difficult. Can you do something in 1? Just say, okay, I can't address your starter, but you can't really fight a card I have? Yeah? There's going to be another very difficult defense. As said, do not envy Turdz having 5 out of 6 second turns against Piggy. I've been having a rash of second turns in closed tournaments, and it feels terrible. And I think that's what this feels like too. Of just every game he's going to find the highest pressure starter, and you're going to just be spending the whole game trying not to die. And I didn't have ready to bring up the 4th game of their match, but Turdz really miraculous save in that one. And last game was obviously close too. Very tough. I think most good players would drop something in 1, 2, or 4 here. Oh, there is also the option to go next to. I didn't really think about that. What if you played 9, 3, 4, 8 in 6? That might be a move. It's hard for Piggy to go 1, 9, 8, 7, and 5. Just a hard move to make. Not necessarily bad, but feels very susceptible to various things. And 7, 4, 8, 7, and 3 seems like a good reply. And if Piggy doesn't do that, then Piggy probably ends up blocking 1 or 8. And may not have a good way to do so. 3 or 8, I meant. Anything in 3 is covered. And if something in 8, maybe Turdz can block 5. And then 6 will be safe. Maybe 9, 3, 4, 8, and 6 makes some sense. Normally, I don't really love blocking squares around their starter if I'm not capturing. But here, given that we have no play in those squares anyway, we may as well just get rid of them. And 9, 3, 4, 8. If you were going to pick between 6 and 8, you'd rather pick 6 because it's harder for them to capture from 5. Because they only have the capture from 5. Well, if we went in 8, they could capture from 7 many ways. And, that's going to be bad. But I think most good players would end up going kind of in 1 or 2 here. 4, I think, is less appealing when Piggy's hand is so well attuned to a side-to-side game. So 9, 3, 4, 8, and 6 looks possible. Moves in 1 and 2. I'm sure there's other ideas that I'm just, not seeing. But that's kind of where I'm at. This is a very tough position. What did he pick up? One of his cards with a little down powers, 5, 8, 7, 4. So he does go in 1. Generally speaking, if you're going to meet a corner with an opposite corner. Now, you sometimes do see people just chuck something weak there, like the 9, 3, 4, 8 there, and say, forget about your thing. My thing will be easy for both of us to take. Let's go from there. but that's usually accepting a large disadvantage. More ambitious is to play a move like this, saying, I can create a difficulty for you. And this does, because Piggy has no capture in 4. And I sort of dismiss this in my head, because 6, 4, 6, 8, and 2 is such a nice capture to have. But it is really important that Piggy has no capture in 4. Moves that thus jump out. 7, 6, 4, 7 in 7. Sets up a capture in 4. But it's kind of fine for Turdz to block 4 himself, because Turdz has so many cards that can block 4 that do not get comboed by Pigs playing in 2 after. So that might not be so scary. Importantly, it also sets up Pigs to have stuff in 8 if wanted, and does not set Turdz up. So that's one move that comes to mind. 7, 6, 4, 7, and 7. What else comes to mind? I was thinking 6, 8, 5, 6, and 5 looks somewhat appealing for a sec, but it sets Turdz up in 8, and I just don't want to do that. The other thing to do is go in 6 or 8 and just start building out from your safe card. Probably want to do 6 rather than 8, because against 8, 8, 7, 4, 3, and 7 is usually a pretty decent reply here. Maybe 6, 4, 6, 8, and 8, but I like keeping that card because it's good at capturing. So something like 7, 6, 4, 7, and 6 looks pretty good. Pretty good. Not amazing, but pretty good. One nice feature is if Turdz goes 3 and you go 1, 9, 8, 7, and 2, it is hard for Turdz to go 5 because it can be plus walled from 4. The more I look at this move of Turdz, the more I like it. As in, I thought he was in a lot of trouble, and I think this did a sufficient job of creating a kind of counter challenge to Pig's hand that it might have a good shot to tie. Yeah, so Turdz had swapped out one card in the hand and not realized suddenly he didn't have coverage that he had before. And just making one swap to a similar card, right? Because it was a 4-8-8-3, and it became a 5-8-7-4. And you know, the 4-3 and the 5-4 have the same gap of 1, the 8-8 and the 8-7, it seems all very similar, but it meant with the previous card, if he stuck 8-7-4-3 and 5, the 4-8-8-3 has the same in 8, and now there isn't one. Alright. Turdz thought 4 was logical. I really didn't consider 4. I considered 6, 8, 7. Didn't consider 4. It does have the threat in 2. So my first thoughts are go in 2 or 7. 7 is pretty hard to pull off. So my second thought is, yeah, definitely go in 2. It is a shame that you can't set up a threat in 5. But I'm not sure a threat in 5 is that needed. So one thing interesting here is the 6-4-6-8 covers, if we go in 7 with an 8 to the right, that's covered. If we go in 7 with a 7 to the right, that's covered. But each needs a specific card in their hand. So the more time goes on, the more likely Turdz will have a chance to have a play in 7. So blocking 2 seems a useful thing to do, while passing time that makes it more likely 7 is available. So if Turdz blocks 2 with something, if Piggy blocks 7 with 1, 9, 8, 7, that, at least visually, quick look, looks bad. 6, 8, 1, 7, and 8. Maybe there's counterplay, 6, 4, 6, 8 goes in 5 or 6, but I suspect you're happy to see 1, 9, 8, 7 go in 7. If 7, 6, 4, 7 goes in 7, then maybe 7, 4, 8, 7 captures. And it's hard for Pigs to play 1, 9, 8, 7, and 5 because 8, 7, 4, 3 has the plus and 6. So my point is, I think it's going to be tough for either player to play in 9 right now. And 9 is one of the most valuable squares on the board because 9 can both potentially lock in 4, and it can have high outfacing and be safe itself. But 9 seems momentarily undesirable for both players. And that means I really think kind of leaving it open and playing elsewhere could work in Turdz' favor here. So I think I would just block 2. Not entirely sure which card I'd want to do it with. Probably 9-3-4-8, to be honest. Each of the other cards came up in one line or other that I looked at, and that never felt very relevant. But it does give up key coverage, right? That can be hit by, say, 1, 9, 8, 7, and 3. So maybe it's the wrong way. Kind of hard to come up with another card, like 6, 8, 1, 7. We can't take that back from 3. Unclear if we'll need to. But I'd sort of like to. One nice thing, actually, about 6, 8, 1, 7, and 2 is if they capture from 5, they have to use up one of the cards that hits one of our captures in 7, right? Because 1, 9, 8, 7 does not capture the 1. So if they use 7, 6, 4, 7, and 5, aha, we can play 8, 7, 4, 3 in 7. And if they go 6, 4, 6, 8, aha, we can play 6, 8, 1, we just use 6, 8, 1, 7. No, we cannot. Ignore me. Another terrible calculation on my part. I think it makes sense to block 2 here, though. I think, like, fundamentally in a situation like this, the lock-ins and the sort of half safeties are the key moves. So 2 and 7 are the standard squares to look at. Nothing in 7 is really working, and nothing in 7 is really working for the opponent. So block 2 and do it with the card that you least need. I think we do have to hold on to 6, 8, 1, 7. We probably have to hold on to 7, 4, 8, 7. It's just non-redundant power. Turdz' hands have been running out of down power really quickly. And you may have noticed, partially because of his great starters, Pig's hands just haven't run out of relevant directional power. So I'm kind of thinking 9, 3, 4, 8. He's picked up 8, 7, 4, 3, which is the other card to put there and makes sense. But I also wanted to keep it open as a threat in 7. Maybe that's just not useful. Oh, very different direction here. Okay. Well, this went to strange formations. What's going on here? If Piggy goes 2, Turdz is saying I get a free spot in 3. Okay. I'm not even sold on that story. Right? You know, if Pigs goes 3, or sorry, if Pigs goes 2, Turdz goes 3, Pigs goes 5, I just feel he's up so many cards. You know, because he'll have the card in 1, he'll have the card in 2, he'll have the card in 6, he'll have the card in 9, he'll have a card in his hand. That's 5 cards. And then 1, 9, 8, 7 is going to get a 6th card on the bottom, right? Or he'll still have 5. So my suspicion is Pigs can play 6, 4, 6, 8, and 2. There's also just, can he play 5? Can he play 5? It's a good question. Thanks, I asked it. Not sure which card. Let's say 1, 9, 8, 7, and 5. Pigs lead 6, 4. Turdz has 1 capture in 8, but it's terrible. 9, 3, 4, 8. It's comboed. Turdz has 3 captures in 7, but 7, 6, 4, 7 covers all of them varyingly well. I think that's just a win. Pigs has no recapture in 3 if 6 is captured. Sorry, Turdz has no recapture. I keep getting names confused. So I think 1, 9, 8, 7, and 5 is a win. I kind of think 6, 4, 6, 8, and 2 is a win as well. But 1, 9, 8, 7 seems cleaner to calculate, because my sort of argument is 6, 4, 6, 8 is going to put up a good score on the top, right? If 6468 lands in 3, it will capture anything in 2, and if for some reason it was needed, which it won't be, it would recapture 6. If Turdz goes in 3, then 6468 will take the card in 1, and will also put up good value on the top. And then on the bottom, we have 7647. If Turdz goes in 8, there's only one move that captures. So either they're going even. Pigs has played it. Yeah. Pigs is very good at finding formational moves. Pigs just incredible first turn player. And this is again not to say he isn't an incredible player, but he's a really incredible first turn player. Yeah. So my point is, I have a video either out or coming out soon about calculation and structures that kind of just says, can we pick a card for the top? Can we pick a card for the bottom? And say the current score is +1, right? If Turdz goes anywhere on the top and we reply with 6468. If Turdz goes 3, he takes nothing. 6468 and 2 takes 1. So Piggy's going to get +1 from the top there. The best Turdz can get from the top is he can go in 2, taking 5, and Piggy takes back from 3. So the best Turdz can get from the top is even. On the bottom, so we've used 6468 on the top. We have 7647. On the bottom, Turdz can either not capture an 8, in which case we're going at least even, or he can capture an 8, in which case we combo back and we're going way better than even, or he can capture in 7, in which case 7647 captures anything back. This was the key of 1987 and 5, or one of the keys, is it set up 7647 and 5 to be able to plus wall 8s, which we could plus wall with our other card, but our other card we're using on the top row. And I just divided up the board. I said 6468 for the top, 7647 for the bottom, and 6468 is guaranteed to go at least even on the top. 7647 against any card they put anywhere is guaranteed to go at least even on the bottom. We're currently up 1. We know we're going to run at least even in both remaining pairs on the board. It's just over. And I think Piggy has played it very nicely. And difficult position for Turdz. I thought the move in 1 was pretty good. I guess we can now start checking with Monsieur AI, because we've gotten to the point where I think we know what's happening. Obviously really rough for Turdz that he switched out one card in his hand and suddenly had to deal with this just incredibly difficult to meet starter. But also nicely played by Pigs. Very good at handling formations too. Another reason he's such an incredible first turn player. If there's one thing this video succeeds in doing, I hope it's getting everyone to realize if you get second turn versus Pigs, pray. It's the hope you have. So they're still thinking. So Turdz found a non-losing reply to the starter. This was a very good move. Turdz is moving 1. This was a very difficult starter to meet, and Turdz found a way of meeting it. Piggy went in 4, which put Turdz in a difficult situation. I thought he should block 2 with 9348. I'll bring this up for you guys. I thought here he should block 2, which does hold. And maybe with this card, though I didn't like this one as much. This also holds. Actually, this one manages to put some pressure on Pigs. So I was wrong in my evaluation of those. Turdz clearly didn't like the look of those, tried this. And Pigs has 2 winning tries. And neither of them are 6-8, 6-4 to 2. I was wrong about this. This, in fact, loses. Turdz goes 3. And everything loses because I didn't realize I'd walked into a combo. Very cute. Nice idea, Turdz. I missed this. So that idea was bad, but this idea that Pigs played... we'll get back to this. Okay, I've miscalculated something. I forgot this comboed. Oh, there's a problem. We'll get back to that. So this, in fact, won. 1987 goes at least even on the bottom. Or does it? This is a bit hard to calculate because 6468 does some stuff. Huh. I thought this was the winning idea. But there's a problem. Alright, let's get back to the game. Let's get back to the game. Turdz says, I feel very good about this. Plays 6817 and 2. Ah, I missed that 9348 has the combo in 7 as well. I was just missing combos. Oh. Well, I sounded very confident about stuff that was really wrong. I guess in my defense, Piggy messed this up too. I just missed these plus walls. Or I saw that we had 6817 and 7 covered, but not that 9348 hit there too. I just missed this. And Pigs must have missed this as well. Huh. Huh. Alright. Let's look at what's happening here. Okay, Pigs have picked up a card, so we'll see what happens. But, I can't say this is, like, a bunch of errors, because the AI did say, you know, Pigs made a losing move, and then Turdz... Turdz made a losing move, and then Pigs made a mistake. But, like, I missed the stuff, too. I can't be like, wow, that was terrible. Alright, so what happens now? Pigs can double capture an 8, but no more. No! It combos. 9348 combos this too. Oh, jeez. This is just a win. Wow. Wow, what a turnaround. Alright, I got everything wrong. Hopefully makes for fun commentary. And hopefully, well, I guess I'm not the one who matters here, but wow. Beating Pigs on second turn. What an achievement. Yeah, I thought this was a simple calculation. And the only reasons that that kind of way of calculating I go even or plus here wouldn't work is when there's a big combo. But I did not notice there was another combo threat. I just didn't see it. And yeah, 6817 and 2 was a winning move. Ah. Very interesting. Ah, fascinating game. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed that. Kind of a shame. Obviously, I'm friends with both, but kind of a shame Piggy didn't win the tournament, given that he had to play multiple extra rounds beyond what Turdz did. So I do want to give huge credit to Piggy here, who beat Akiyama, Delial, Wavy, Dalamar, and lost to Turdz in the finals. Incredible run, right? Well, Turdz beat Tezuka, Yevon, got a bye, got another bye, and then beat Piggy, right? So this is not to take away from Turdz. Congrats on winning this. Again, winning on second turn against Pigs, insane. Doesn't happen. But also, Pigs really put in very good work this tournament. And I do feel a little sad he didn't get the title after this. But congrats to Turdz, congrats to Pigs for making it. Really interesting games. My calculation all over the place here. But nicely spotted in 2. I totally missed the plus wall in 7. And yeah, I guess I'll probably just put this video up right away, given that the tournament's over. Congrats to Turdz, congrats to Piggy. You both done great.